Viewers. In the absence of, well, in the absence of Supervisor Mathis, I'll call the meeting to order. Would you please stand for the opening prayer and pledge of allegiance?
Lord, we're meeting here tonight to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being the source of our guidance tonight. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Still pinned, huh? Roll call. Mathis is absent. Krug, present. Tucker,
Present.
Gopel,
Here.
Kessler,
Here.
Rain is absent, and Reed.
Here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. Okay, approval of the agenda. Whoop, better back up. In the absence of Supervisor Mathis, we need to appoint a temporary chair for tonight's meeting. Need a motion, please.
Motion, Krug. Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Just for the folks here in the audience, this meeting is going to be recorded. It's on Charter Cable Channel 191. And when you come up to comment, if you so choose, please give your name, but you don't have to give your address unless you so choose, okay? So, approval of agenda. Is there any additions, subtractions, or corrections to the agenda?
Any more additions?
And it's the agenda that's in front of you on paper. We added two things since it was emailed out Friday.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the agenda as revised.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Next are the meeting minutes of the August 5th meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions? Okay, then the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Expenditures. Are there any questions regarding any of the invoices? And a motion is in order to approve the expenditure of $1 million.
Shouldn't be that much. It did get changed. I'm sorry, Bob.
I got it,
Hold on.
made me scared too.
I was gonna change that before I printed it.
That looks a little different.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, everybody that's revived, it's really $420,074.73.
That's way better.
Yeah, me too.
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. A roll call, please.
Rain is absent. Reed.
Yes.
Mathis is absent. Krug.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I think they're all awake now after I started with that $1 million. The first is the public hearing tonight in regards to a Lake Fenton Improvement Special Assessment District Number 2. It's a hearing on the assessment roll. I would like to just make this statement before we go to the public. I would like to note that based on previous action of the Township Board, Trustee Lorraine and Reed will abstain from voting on this issue due to a conflict of interest. This is a public hearing on a special assessment roll for Lake Fenton Improvements Special Assessment District Number 2. And the proposed roll assesses the following amounts per parcel. December tax bill 2019 126.98, which includes administrative costs. 2020 33.87, 2021 36.12, 2022 pardon me 42.89, in 2023 at $45.15. So this covers individual assessments and the total cost of the project. Is there anyone that would like to address the board, please? What if I started $1 million? Is there anyone who wants to? Okay. Mr. Broker, could you read resolution 2019-30, please?
Yes, resolution 2019-30 confirms special assessment roll number 2019-05 as the assessment roll for Lake Fenton Improvement Special Assessment District number 2. Divides the assessment into 5 annual installments, with the first installment due December 1st, 2019. Assesses a 1% per month penalty on late installments. Directs the clerk to deliver the special assessment roll with warrant attached to the treasurer. Directs the treasurer to collect the special assessments and repeals any conflicting resolutions.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Krug.
Yes.
Mathis is absent. Kessler.
Yes.
Reed.
Abstaining.
Oh, sorry. Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Motion carries. Resolution is adopted.
Okay, thank you. Moving right along is the proposed lake improvement special assessment district for Loon Lake. Hearing on creation of a special assessment district. This is a public hearing on the creation of a new lake improvement district for Loon. If approved, the project would consist of 5 years continuation of a weed control program for Loon Lake. The estimated cost of the project is $138,050 spread out over 5 years. And this board will be accepting public comment in regards to the creation of the district, the proposed boundaries of the district, the necessity of the improvements, the plans for the improvements, and the cost estimate for the improvements. Is there anyone that would like to address the board concerning Loon Lake? If you come up to the podium, please.
My name's Dave Weber. I am the president of the Loon Lake Association that we're just now starting. Wanted to first thank Tom for his assistance helping us get this put together. Brand new to this, I didn't know much about putting this together. We're just asking to continue doing the same process that we've had. Very similar numbers, no major price increases in what we're looking to do. So that's really what we, as the association, we're asking for. Continue the SAD, very similar to what we have in years past.
Any other comments from the audience? Okay, thank you very much. Based on no additional comments, could you read resolution 2019-31, Mr. Broker, please?
Yes, resolution 2019-31 approves the plans and estimated costs for the project, creates Loon Lake Improvement Special Assessment District Number 2, which includes all properties with frontage on or legal access to Loon Lake, directs the supervisor to create a special assessment roll, and rescinds any conflicting resolutions.
I'll move the motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Reed.
Yes.
Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Krug.
Yes,
Mathis is absent. Motion carries. Resolution is adopted.
thank you. Moving to the next is a proposed lake improvement.
Nope. We have to do the
You have
second
to do the
resolution.
31? Oh, I thought we didn't pass it.
No, if we don't, then we don't need this one. So we need to this in another resolution.
Okay. In anticipation of the previous resolution, a special resolution assessment roll has been completed, certified and filed with the township clerk as required by said resolution. Now we need to pass the resolution for the district. Mr. Broker, 2019-32, please.
Resolution 2019-32 acknowledges the filing of the special assessment roll with the clerk and its availability for review until the public hearing. Schedules a public hearing on the special assessment roll at the September 3rd board meeting. Directs the clerk to publish and mail the notice of hearing according to statute and rescinds any conflicting resolutions.
So moved.
Support?
Roll call, please.
Mathis is absent. Kessler?
Yes.
Krug?
Yes.
Gopel?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Reed?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution is adopted.
Okay, thank you. Now it's the opportunity to comment on the proposed lake improvement special assessment district for Squaw Lake and on the hearing of creation of a special assessment district. The creation of a special assessment district can be commented on, the proposed boundaries, the necessary improvements, the plans, and the costs. Is there anyone that would like to address Squaw Lake? Yes, sir. Would you go to the podium, please?
I got a handout too. I don't know who's here from Squab.
Put your hand up and squat on.
Anybody in this row? So, just to introduce myself, I'm not a resident. My name is Paul Hausler. I'm a senior scientist from Progressive AE. We're a lake management consulting firm, currently working with about 80 lakes throughout the state. And we were asked to put together a budget for Squaw Lake. My coworker Rick Butine went out, took a look at the lake, and we put our heads together on a budget, and we looked at previous treatments that were done. That information is available through the Eagle, which formerly MDEQ, now called Eagle. They're the ones that oversee the permits for treatments. And so we are looking at treatment reports from previous years. So based on that, what he saw and what was done previously, we're recommending that they put together a program similar to what's going on at Lake Panema right now, which has been going on for a couple of years now, where you have a third-party oversight, a consultant that is not tied to either treatments or any other management strategy, and they do surveys and direct the application company to do the treatments, and then they go out and inspect that work afterwards and provide a recommendation to the township and the association on what needs to be done and if the treatments were successful and whether the invoice should be paid or not. So that's in a nutshell what that service provides. We also, in looking at Squaw Lake, the bathymetry or the depth contour map was not very good. We're recommending that this fall we go out, if this program proceeds, go out and map the lake using high definition hydroacoustic equipment, sonar equipment, and mapping the lake, creating a three-dimensional map of the lake, also creating a GIS, which is a Geographic Information System, where we put together maps for the lake, and we can use those for the treatments. They're set up with waypoints, GPS waypoints along the shoreline, and if necessary on other parts of the lake that may be shallow, that are offshore. And that information is used to give more accurate information to the application company when they go out. And then when we go out and check it, we know that we're in the exact location that we gave that information. So that's in a nutshell what we're proposing. You can see the budget that I presented. I think the total cost is $16,700 over a 3-year project from starting in 2020, continuing through 2022. So at this point, I would just ask if anybody has any questions.
You are detecting depths of the water, but are you detecting where all the debris blows according to the winds always coming to the
Yep,
certain
so,
shores?
yes, so when we typically do 3 to 5 surveys starting in mid to or early to mid-May, depending on the weather. This year was a cold spring, so we started a little later. But typically we are out there monthly during the summer, and we note things like that if there's a pileup of, weeds that have been cut. Typically the idea is to try to target the weeds that are causing those problems before they get cut. Now some of them are native plants and that may still happen, but what we found is on other projects that we're able to get that down to a smaller amount by targeting the treatments and timing them correctly.
Because this year, everything was floating on the top very heavily before they.
Yep, so yeah, that's the idea, is to get the herbicide in there before the plants get to the surface so they're not as easily cut.
Any other questions for the gentleman? Any other comments for the board?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
My name's Dominic Corso. I'm the vice president of the Ponimasquaw Tupper Lake Association. And I just wanted to speak in part of Progressive AE that I have some records here from this previous year's treatment from them that they share with the Lake Ponema board. If anybody's interested in seeing the report we have for Lake Ponema from them, and all of the treatment plans and all of the emails they send us to let us know where and when all the treatments are occurring, and how much of each product on the shorelines, and all that communication that they send to the applicator. So if anybody would like to see that, I have that here. I don't have enough to hand out to everybody, but I'll be at this table after the meeting. But we've been very happy with working with Progressive AE on Lake Ponema. I mean, there's always some discrepancies in how weeds grow and where they grow and what people think is a bad problem. There's always different opinions. So, but for the most part, a lot of the people here are pretty happy with the weed control in Lake Ponema.
Is the channel going between Squaw and Ponema considered Ponema or Squaw, or do they address that? Or that's where a lot of the weeds are.
It's part way down. I believe there's a halfway point somewhere, but on this map it will show you about how far it
Okay,
goes.
so what if the same organization is doing both lakes, then it would be the whole
Correct.
channel.
Anyone else? Any other questions?
Any questions for me?
Could you come up to the,
I'm Mark Shantz, 4144 Lakes on Squaw Lake. I think one of the questions, and again, I wish I knew the answer, but I don't. The amount that is proposed, Tom, how many people are in the special assessment district for weed control? Or how many parcels?
Give me just 1 minute here, I'll pull up the...
People are trying to wonder what the cost has been historically per year on their winter tax bill, or what it will be with this proposed, I'll say, modification.
well, the estimated cost of 56.
Yeah, I can look up both,
You can get it?
because I can get the
Okay.
last one and the proposed one in just a moment here. Okay, looks like you're paying around $65 a year on the prior assessment. But that included a significant rollover of funds from a previous special assessment. So that's kind of a misleading number, because we're looking at 177 the first year, 130 in each of the following 2 years. based on the budget we were given, and that's 128 parcels in the district. But the 14 to 18, there was money left over that was carried forward, I believe, which we won't have for this.
So the carryover money is gone.
Correct.
Does that answer everyone's question or not?
There was a gentleman back there.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of like half deaf. Can you go over those figures again?
Okay.
Could they be repeated?
Should the
170 for the first year?
177 for the first year is the proposed assessment amount, then 130.47 for each of the next 2 years after that.
How many houses is that among?
128.
Anyone else have any comments or questions? Yes, sir. Could you come up to the podium,
I
please?
don't think I can go all the way over there.
Okay, can you just,
But I wanted to, I live on Lake Panema. I don't want to argue with what he said about Lake Panema, but this is the worst weed problem that we've had in front of our house. I live on Idle View Drive, my name's Howard Schrocker, I live on Idle View Drive, and we can't even swim. My grandkids can't even swim in front of our house, they're so thick. This is the worst it's ever been. I mean, it's so thick.
I agree. Weeds are horrible.
I'll change the subject. Howard,
Yeah.
it's great seeing you up and around.
Thank you.
For those of you that don't know, Mr. Schrock had a bike accident, what, 3 years ago?
Yep.
And wasn't supposed to be able to do what he's doing. So it's phenomenal to see Howard up. Okay, I'll go back to the business. Any other comments regarding SQUA? Yes, sir.
I'm not on SQUA, but I'm just, this gentleman here, is he representing the spray company? Or is he an assessor? He assesses the lake?
He's a consultant brought in by the Lake Association to help manage the treatment program. So his company doesn't do the treatments,
Okay,
they
the
direct
one you're
them.
talking about, 177 the first year, does that pay for this gentleman's work?
It's included in that, yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
Yes.
Anyone else? Yes.
Evening, everybody.
Evening.
Gary Carlson, 14041 Squaw Lake. Tom, I'll direct this question towards you. Moving forward, since Squaw Lake and Lake Panema are under the umbrella of the same lake association, are they going to try to sync up the two assessment districts where they will expire and renew on the same year?
Well, the one for SQUA is proposed to be 3 years, so it ends the same time as the current Lake Panema one does.
Okay.
So from a treatment standpoint, yes. I think the treatment program can be developed together, but it'll still be separate special assessment districts.
Understood, yes.
Because the treatment needs could be different for each lake, so we don't want to share the cost between the lakes. But as far as being able to approach it universally, yeah, that was actually the goal when it was requested to be a 3-year assessment this time.
Okay, yeah, that was the idea. I understood the Lake Panema as a special assessment district, but just basically moving forward, we'll expire and renew each lake respectively right at the same time. So there's not an offset. Okay.
Right.
The houses along the back side of Horrell Road on that channel, I presume they're in the district as well?
Yes.
South side of Horrell Road?
Yes.
Does any treatment go on in that channel, or do you know?
I don't know that.
Okay.
The benefit is they have access to the lake. I mean, the channels or canals are treated probably if needed and if allowed. Derek, can you add to that?
We treated the channel that goes back in along Horrell one time this year. So you do get treated.
Okay. I'm not on that channel, but I was wondering if they're part of it. Speaking of that channel, Bryson Court, I've heard conflicting information over the years that there's 2 lots, maybe 1, possibly 2 lots at the end of Bryson Court that have like deeded frontage to that channel. Do you know? Is that just a rumor, or is that?
I don't believe I have any Bryson Court addresses on the district.
And that may not be true, I don't know, but it's like when you get to the very end of Bryson, like at that cul-de-sac to the right, there was like, so I always heard that there was like 1 or 2 houses that somehow kind of finagle an access to the very end of that whole road channel. I was wondering if that was correct.
I don't have them in the list. That's something we could look at.
Okay, all right, okay. And just to, other people commented, for whatever reason, we had a bad outbreak of algae this year too. I don't know, we're supposed to get a copper sulfate treatment for that, but yeah, we had the MDEQ and out testing and taking samples and all that, so I don't know why that occurred, if it was just an off season or, but that is an issue. Like people are talking about, for whatever reason, the weeds have not, we haven't gotten great control this year on the lakes, so. That's all I had though, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board or comment on the proposed assessment district? If not, Mr. Broker, could you read resolution 2019-33, please?
Yes, resolution 2019-33 approves the plans and estimated costs for the project, creates Squaw Lake Improvement Special Assessment District Number 2, which includes all properties with frontage on Squaw Lake and the canals connected to Squaw Lake, directs the supervisor to create a special assessment roll, and rescinds any conflicting resolutions.
So move.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Gopel?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Mathis is absent. Krug?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Kessler?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution is adopted.
In anticipation of the previous resolution, a special assessment roll has been completed, certified, and filed with the township clerk as required by the said resolution. Mr. Broker, could you read resolution 2019-34, please?
Yes. Resolution 2019-34 acknowledges the filing of the special assessment roll with the clerk and its availability for review until the public hearing. Schedules a public hearing on the special assessment roll at September 3rd board meeting. Directs the clerk to publish and mail the notice of hearing according to statute. Rescinds any conflicting resolutions.
So move.
Support.
Okay, need to move the resolution?
We got the motion in a second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Kessler.
Yes.
Krug.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Mathis is absent. Tucker.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution is adopted.
Okay, the next is, before you open this vote, it needs to be noted that I will be abstaining from the vote on this issue as I live on the Golden Pond, and Mr. Tucker is going to provide leadership, please.
Thank you, Clerk Krug. Tom, we're down to 4. What do we need? 3 out of 4?
Yes.
Okay. As you probably noticed, we're running a special on Lake Special Assessment District tonight.
Yeah. Starting with $1,000,001. Oh.
And because we are down to 4, the required vote is 3. If that causes any of the applicant to want to wait till we have more bodies, I just want to make you aware of that particular fact. This is a public hearing on the creation of a Lake Improvement Special Assessment District for Golden Pond. If approved, the project would consist of a 5-year weed control program for Golden Pond. The estimated cost of the project is $32,230 spread out over the 5-year period. The board will accept public comment on the following. This is where you all join in, of course, because you've already heard this. Now you already can tell me what these are. We're going to hear about the creation of the Special Assessment District, the proposed boundaries of the district, the necessity of the improvement, the plans for the improvement, and the costs for the improvement. So, Golden Pond folks, this is your time. Take public comment at that podium right over there. There's a gentleman here, we'll go here first.
Good evening. My name is Bob Fay. I live on Golden Pond, Swans Cove. When we first moved out here in 2001, the lake was in real good shape. We had no problems. Although we did have a gentleman come in and kind of clean up the front of our property, put some chemicals in. But what happened is he's fighting a losing battle. Right now we have cattails, algae, lily pads. It's actually choking the lake. It's hard to get into it. The people trying to use their canoes and kayaks and that are having trouble going through that muck. I'm just 100% for the millage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? There was somebody else. We'll let this gentleman go here first.
I'm Whitey Fisher. I live on Golden Pond, and I didn't catch the name, I'm sorry, but Bob. What Bob said was very true. I've lived there for 22 years. My dream was to be retired and be able to go fishing in 5 minutes. My dream was coming true for a long time, and this weed thing, when we went to 1 spray a year instead of 2, I could see the change. And I was out there almost every day fishing, and we've got mutated weeds in there, things that weren't there 3 years ago that look like great big 6-foot diameter mushrooms growing up down there. We got a new weed that popped up this year. They came around and sprayed. I happened to be home. I walked out, made sure they sprayed in front of my house. Nothing happened. I called the guy up. I told him I want to know what happened. I watched you spray in front of my house. It didn't kill anything. He never returned my call. I called him again. I said, I just want to ask questions. Could you call me? Didn't call me. One of my questions is, if the guy that does the assessments here, if we, hopefully this goes through, will we hire this guy to tell the spray guy what he's doing wrong or what he needs to do? But I've went fishing once this year. I can't get my little pontoon boat out there. It's terrible. And I don't even know if this petition passed. I never got anybody to call me back to let me know if the petition passed. But if this petition didn't pass and people are not going to contribute like they have not been contributing all along, a lot of them, I'm moving. I don't care if I lose money. I can't stand it. Most of it is I found out 90% of my neighbors ain't contributing to the spray fund. And I want better neighbors mainly.
That's funny. They said the same thing. Yeah, there's somebody's flanked you. I see you, but he's quicker than you are.
Yeah, my name is Derek Brookshire, owner-operator of Aquatic Nuisance Plant Control. We've been treating Golden Shores Pond for 30 years now. We first started in Linden, and when we first started, there may have been a handful of people that didn't want to participate. And over the 30 years, people have gradually dropped out. And at that time, we were basically doing the same management plan that we are proposing now, is doing 2 applications for weeds and algae, then another mid-season treatment for algae. Over the years, with people dropping out, the money wasn't there, so they ended up doing 1 application, and that's usually towards July. So the special assessment is something that really needs to be put in place to do a better job. So I was asked here to answer questions, if people have questions.
The special assessment, that will be more than 1 treatment, correct?
Yes.
How many treatments?
2 applications for weeds and algae, and a third right around the 4th of July for algae alone.
3 treatments?
Yes, through the season.
Is this for the 5 years? Or?
That's the same program over the 5 years, so each year is the same.
Can you tell me why you put 3 signs on my tree that you sprayed? I was there for 2 of them. You covered my area really good. I was real happy with it. Can you tell me why it didn't kill the weeds?
Well, it depends on what was there. We're not in the business to kill everything. I know you guys had a big problem this year. We had a lot of rain, a lot of runoff. And I know in May, you know, people are anxious to get their lawns fertilized. And with all the rain, all that ran into the pond, so you've seen that. I mean, you had a lot of algae this year. The weeds really took off. But with the way we're doing it, hit and miss, it's not gonna do a good job.
Was the first spray too late?
It may have been too early. So we had a long spring. It was wet and cold. So there's times you get in there too early, it's not as effective.
Do we use the assessment guy here to tell you what?
That's up to you guys.
No, is it going on right now?
No, you guys don't. He's totally separate from us. I mean, they got their own engineering company, so.
Well, I'm concerned about some of these new weeds. I mean, when I first started fishing there, everything was great, you know, and I see the same old weeds, and then like 10 years ago, we got coontail weeds. We never had that before.
Well, you're
now we got a couple. Then what's that mushroom thing down there I'm looking at?
That could be starry stonewort is what you're seeing.
Can you get rid of that?
Not completely. You can burn it down.
All right, let's slow down here, come on. Let's, one at a time, please. And you get one more question, and we're gonna let some other people hit some questions. Ah, look at there. There was another question, this lady here, yes.
What about the middle of the pond and Golden Pond? Because from what I've observed, you're addressing the shorelines, but then nothing's happening in the middle. And the blanket weeds that he's talking about, I believe, they're throughout the pond, there's blankets of them.
Yeah, and see, we're limited by the state on their rules and regulations that when you're using contact herbicides, they'll let you treat out to a 5-foot depth or 300 foot, whichever comes first. It may be time to look at your depth contours in the lake to see how deep it is out in the middle, because if it's 5 foot through the whole thing, you should be able to treat pretty much anywhere within that 5 feet. So I know we've got old maps, and over the years, those depths do change. So.
Gentlemen.
John Tador, I live on Golden Shores. I mapped that whole lake. The deepest part's 13.9.
Okay.
And it's on 2 ends. And the rest of it averages out about 8.5 to 9. But the thing, if this doesn't pass, the property values of those properties might be like white, pack up and move.
Any other questions for Mr. Derrick? Yes, sir.
I don't know if this is relevant, but to me, what I'm seeing on Golden Pond is that it's almost like stagnant water. There's no movement whatsoever. Now, I checked with the DNR. The DNR doesn't even have Golden Ponds on their record as having motorboat or electric
trolling motors.
You know, trolling motor. To me, what I see needs to happen is that water needs to move. Now, I know it's runoff of Lake Fenton. That means that Lake Fenton and Golden Pond is at the same elevation. Now, you got Lake Fenton, you got a gazillion pontoon boats over there going back and forth, and they're making this water move. Now, I'm not suggesting putting a million pontoons. Ours is just a little dinky pond. And there, like I said, I checked with the DNR, and is there something the township, does this township have an ordinance for just electric motors on this lake?
No, we don't, and I hear from a reliable source who will go unnamed that the DEQ doesn't have a no-wake ordinance for this lake. So to the extent that there is any regulation of that out there, it would be in your condominium documents.
Okay, all right, to answer that, I belong to Swans Cove, the association. There's nothing in our bylaws that stipulates a electric motor on that pond. Now, I wouldn't put a 35-horse motor on there, it's too small. But a 5-horse, a 10-horse, anything to get that water moving. And, you know, it's gonna chop up some of the weeds. It possibly might help your fertilizer stuff, you know? But I don't know if there's any kind of a, you're telling me there's no ordinance, the DNR has no record of any of that.
Right. So,
And if it's other associations that live on Golden Pond, do they have it in their bylaws? Is there another association, is it in their bylaws? Because if it isn't, why can't we put a motor on there and stir this lake up some?
well, even
I'm
if
in the
it,
process of just going around as close as I can to where I'm at, pulling trees that's fallen down. I pull them out a little bit, I let them dry off, and I cut them off.
is this a man-made body of water, or is this naturally occurring? Anybody know?
Yes. Spring fed lake.
Naturally occurring?
There's no in, there's no out. It's spring fed.
But it's naturally occurring though. And was it dug out to be that way, or?
No.
All right.
In the late 40s to early 50s, it was a gravel pit.
Okay.
And the kids who are now older than I used to call it Pike Lake because there was lots of pike in it. I moved on the lake about 43 years ago. I was the second house on the lake. It was clear. There's always been rumors that there's an underground tunnel right near the weir that goes from Golden Pond to Lake Fenton, but no one's ever approved it. So it kind of functions on its own because, let's say the weir is non-functioning.
Okay. Well, what you have is an interesting real estate question. Real estate law. I happen to be a real estate lawyer. Most of you don't know that. But, I mean, what Bob is describing is common of a lot of our lakes. Panema and Tupper and I think Squaw were all mining-derived lakes a long time ago, like in the 50s. That's not naturally occurring. So we've treated them like they're natural lakes, and we've been giving everybody riparian rights like they're naturally occurring. So to answer your original question, if it is a naturally occurring lake, if another association has restrictions, it only pertains to that association. So even if another one does, and mapping bottomlands of lakes is a very notorious thing. Is this a relatively round lake?
Yeah.
Yeah. Generally, what happens is you extend the property boundaries out to a point in the middle, so everybody gets a slice of pie-shaped bottomland that they actually own. Now, if it's not naturally occurring, you know, that's a different question. That's why it makes an interesting real estate question. Then it just follows the actual property boundaries. Because what happens on riparian lakes, like if you look out behind you, it's not a round or a square lake. Those are known how to divide up. You got to run meander lines down the middle and draw lines out perpendicular to property boundaries. So it gets very confusing is what I'm saying. But the only reason I mention that is that just because an association on the lake may or may not have, may have a restriction, that it's not automatically binding on everybody else. You're bound by the restrictions in the subdivision in which you live. Okay? Yes, sir.
Yeah, on the pond, on Crane Road, there is a dam. I go down there once a year, I listen to it. I look at the chain, see if anybody's monkeyed with that lock that's been on there for who knows how long. But it is dammed, and it does run into Crane's Cove.
Okay.
From our lake, but there's absolutely no water movement. And
it's there.
It's there.
Yeah. But last year, our pond was drained for over 2 feet. What was up with that?
Yeah.
The beavers?
No, they told us that what happened is they had to drain our pond because the canals that were off of by the boat launch, those people were flooded out. I looked on Google, there's no reason or rhyme for that. Doesn't mean, it was just something to tell me to, you know, just to be quiet. And I looked it over, and I know elevation and everything. There's no way that our pond caused those people to flood. There's no way. because they have their own dam down there, and I went down there, it's running. And so, it's just people just tell you something, just, you don't even know what they're talking about.
Do we have any more questions for Mr. Brookshire? Yes, ma'am.
If we got 1,000, would that help at all?
Well, I was gonna suggest they have it's like a fountain, but you can put it under the surface so it just kind of circulates the water.
Like a bubbler?
Yeah, a bubbler, or it's basically like a fountain that sits on a floater. You can tie it to a crate or your dock, and it just kind of pushes the water out, gets it moving. So I've seen a lot of people do that. In fact, I think Lake Panema, I've seen people do it there, and Silver Lake had them.
So that's something an individual can purchase?
Yeah.
Hook it to their dock.
Are they expensive?
The electricity is.
Yeah. They probably run around $1,500.
Any more questions for Mr. Brookshire?
Doesn't all that is pushing toward your neighborhood?
Well, it gets the water moving. I mean, it's not stagnant. So.
Any questions for Mr. Brookshire? Are we done with Mr. Brookshire?
Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Any more comments on the proposed special assessment for Golden Pond?
I'd just like to take a half a second on some.
All right, your time's up.
And
I had to say, Pete Trosco, I live in Swascove. I had to say something, otherwise my neighbors would be mad at me. I just want to say that we did get the signatures. We went around, and it was a tough thing to do, but we got enough signatures to move this forward. And I'm glad that some of our neighbors are here today, and our president of our. So we got a lot of support. And there's a very, just want to emphasize what everybody else has said. I agree, and they hit it on the nail on the head. We do have a very strong need to get that lake straightened out. It's green, it's terrible. It started 3, 4, 5 years ago when people neglected to pay because they saw the lake deteriorating. They said, why should we pay? We're throwing money away. The chemicals are doing no good, so that's why it deteriorated. Just wanted to thank everybody for showing up and giving us some support.
And I will tell you, you've heard 4 special assessments tonight, and there really hasn't been a whole lot of opposition to any of these, and that's not always the case when we get these. And I was just involved with the road special assessment, so I know how hard it is to get the signatures and to try and get everybody pulling in the same direction. And it looks like you're all pulling in the same direction. So from our standpoint, we're just here to do whatever you want to do, and we're glad to see that you guys are all working in the same direction. Last call for public comment for the creation of the special assessment district.
We do have 2 written comments that were submitted. One, the board has a copy of. I got this earlier today from BIM Imaging, objecting to the proposed treatment. Although I think he's talking about natural vegetation, which of course is not the target of the treatment. It's the invasive species. But anyway, so his objection is noted. And then we received at the start of the meeting a handwritten letter from residents Bill and Donna Minette in support of the program.
What were the numbers again, Tom, for the petitions?
Let me find it. I think it was, I want to say about 55%. Yeah, I can find it real fast here. Um, 55.58 of the land area, which is the legal requirement, 40 of 70 or 57% of the parcels.
Okay. So over half of you step forward, and that doesn't mean the other half are opposed, so that's good work. All right, we've closed public comment. Is there any board discussion on the matter? Seeing none, Mr. Broker, would you be kind enough to read Resolution 2019-35?
Yes, 2019-35 approves the plans and estimated cost for the project, creates the Golden Pond Improvement Special Assessment District, includes all properties with frontage on Golden Pond, directs the supervisor to create a special assessment roll, and rescinds any conflicting resolutions.
I'll move the resolution.
Support.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Broker?
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Gopal.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Mathis is absent. Krug is abstaining. Motion carried. Resolution is adopted.
So if you've been paying attention, you know if the first motion passes, the first resolution carries, there's a second one that follows up. So in anticipation of the last resolution, the special assessment roll has been completed, certified, and filed with the Township Clerk as required by the resolution. Mr. Broker, since you're doing such a lovely job of presenting resolutions, why don't you present 2019-36?
Resolution 2019-36 acknowledges the filing of the special assessment roll at the clerk and its availability for review until the public hearing. Schedules a public hearing on the special assessment roll at the September 3rd board meeting. Directs the clerk to publish and mail the notice of hearing according to statute and rescinds any conflicting resolutions.
And I will move that resolution.
Support.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Lorraine is absent. Mathis is absent. Kessler.
Yes.
Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Krug is abstaining. Reed.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution is adopted.
So for those of you following along at home, the next meeting is September 3rd, and that's a Tuesday night. So it's a little different than what we're usually here. It's same bat time at 7:30, but different bat day, Tuesday after Labor Day. Okay? All right, Mr. Krug, you have the
Well,
reins.
We're leaving the lakes, we're now up on dry land. Our next is the proposed streetlight special assessment district for Fenton Orchards. And it's the hearing on the creation of the special assessment district. Is there anyone that wants to make comment in regarding the special assessment district for lighting in Fenton Orchards?
I'm Chuck Gurdon. I'm actually the secretary of the board of directors for our homeowners association.
Give him just a second.
Sure.
Please. Howard, use the elevator.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta talk to him for a minute.
Oh, okay, I'm just trying to make it easy on you, buddy.
Go.
I didn't say you couldn't.
Go
Take him
blue.
in the elevator with you.
Go blue, Howard.
When the surgeon told me that he was officially the hardest head they had ever seen, like, tell me something we don't know.
You knew that. You knew.
30 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you've known that for a lot longer than.
A lot longer.
No, Bonnie, I missed her.
I'll tell her that, Howard. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Oh,
sir.
no problem. I'm Chuck Gurdon. I'm the secretary of the homeowners association for Fenton Orchards. The one who originally brought the resolution together, I was actually the third house in phase 3, which is a very dark section of the subdivision. Phases 1 and 2 already have streetlights in them. Our reasoning for doing it this way is this is how the process was done for getting the lights into phase 1 and phase 2. We, as opposed to doing it on our own privately, obviously the expense was more than our board could handle or the homeowners could handle. So, like I say, we've for the last 3 years we've been we had a hard time getting signatures from the investors who own all the lots, but now that we have enough homeowners in there, we've actually hit the 50% mark where we actually can pass our nomination or our what do we call them, our petitions, and get them submitted. So that's all I have.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, here, is there any board discussion regarding the,
I did want to make a
Yeah,
comment. I think I
Tom?
mentioned it at the last meeting, but this will be our first streetlight special assessment where we're going to be putting in LED streetlights. The fixtures will look like the streetlights in phases 1 and 2 physically, but they will be actual LED bulbs in them. They're a little more expensive to put in, but the reduced cost to operate them, the payback is about 2 years. So it's
Which is spectacular.
It's really good.
yeah. So if there's no board input, could you read resolution 2019-37, please?
Yes, resolution 2019-37 approves the plans and estimated costs for the project, creates the Fenton Orchards 3 Street Lighting Special Assessment District. It includes all properties in Phase 3 of the Fenton Orchards condominium development. Directs the supervisor to create the special assessment roll and rescinds any conflicting resolutions.
So moved.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Kessler.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Krug.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Mathis is absent. Tucker.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution is adopted.
And to be consistent in anticipation of the previous resolution, a special assessment roll has been completed, certified, and filed with the Township Clerk, and it's Resolution 2019-38. Mr. Broker, please.
Resolution 2019-38 acknowledges the filing of the special assessment roll with the clerk and its availability for review until the public hearing. Schedules a public hearing on the special assessment roll at the September 3rd board meeting. Directs the clerk to publish and mail the notice of hearing according to statute. Rescinds any conflicting resolutions.
Move the res- Second.
Roll call, please.
Lorraine is absent. Reed.
Yes.
Mathis is absent. Krug.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution is adopted.
Thank you. Next, are there any reports or committee reports to the board?
I have one report. The Eleanor Street project is going to move forward. Attending a pre-construction meeting Wednesday. The planned start date is September 3rd. The builder of the large house along that road has been notified that the road will be unavailable for 3 weeks once they start. And they're moving forward. So they'll have a new road before winter.
Who's the contractor there, Tom?
It's one I wasn't familiar with.
Okay,
I'd
that's
have to
fine.
look it up, yeah.
No worries.
They were the low bidder, and the road commission vetted them and said, yep, they were fine.
It'll be about 5 minutes. Hang on, okay. Call tomorrow. Call this. It's all right. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next is communications. Just a quick note that I'll throw out there. The young scout for his eco project built exercise equipment for the dog park. It is complete and is being reviewed to see if it's acceptable. If you get a chance, go out there. He did quite a good job. He built for both sides. So, and if it is accepted sometime in September, we'll have a resolution that could be presented at Honors Night for the young scout. There are no adoption of ordinances, unfinished business, purchase of tax reverted property. I don't see Mr. Constable.
No, I
What are,
advised him that the board wanted him here, so.
I suggest we wait till he gets here. I would like to know what or have him send us an email. I don't care. Need to know what he thinks. That's what we're paying him the big bucks for.
okay? Can you-
Sarcasm, Mark. It was sarcasm.
No, I
never would have thought it was sarcastic.
So you want to table this?
Yeah.
Can you get a message to,
I'll contact him again.
and the next under unfinished business with Mr. Tucker already took care of it. Our next board meeting is on Tuesday, September 3rd. So, new business. This is an item we've talked about before, and it comes to us as a proposed hiring to fill a full-time position. Mr. Broker, please.
Yes, the memo in the packet, I think, gives the background and the details regarding the recommendation. When Penny Sherrich retired in 2013, that was kind of, we were at the depths of the recession and low activity in planning and zoning and building, so we did not fill that position when she left. And as things increased, we did hire Julie Ora as a part-time employee about almost 4 years ago now for the front desk area, but also providing support in other departments. And as the office activity is increased, particularly in building, we need more support in that department. And to kind of not complicate it, but prior to her retirement, Valerie McDonald was the backup for building. And since we've combined her former position with the former contracted zoning administrator and our new zoning administrator, there really isn't room for backing up the building department, plus I think that would create some union issues as well. So I'm proposing that we eliminate the part-time position and approve Ms. Ora for a full-time position, same job description she has today, but on a full-time basis. And part of her assignment would be providing ongoing support and backup for the building department, which she's been doing on a sporadic basis as needed for several months. I did include a cost analysis. Going from the current part-time to full-time, we're looking at about $19,000 annualized expense increase. But if you look at our net building department building permit revenue minus our contracted expenses, that net has from 2015 to 2018 went up $75,000. So we're covering our costs and then some. But I think between the building department and just the need to have some extra support throughout the office, I'm recommending that we make this change.
So we're going basically from 27 hours a week to 38 hours, so it's 11 more hours is what
Right.
we're talking about.
Right.
Do we have to post this or not?
I posted it subject to board approval. So we've already gone through the
that
posting,
process.
already conducted.
clear then?
Cleared the union requirements and regulations.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been posted, knock on wood. I don't think anybody's heard it. There's a big issue with it.
Good.
So I need a motion to hire, or to approve the hiring of Julie Ora to fill the full-time position of receptionist/support clerk as presented.
So moved.
Support. Roll call, please.
Krug.
Yes.
Mathis is absent. Kessler.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Motion carries.
The next item on is the resolution for a permit for the Lake Fenton High School Homecoming Parade. This will be on Torrey Road. And the parade will be Friday, October 4th. And it's usually from, 5 to...
Yeah, with the resolution we put a window of 4 to 6.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
but generally the parade does start at 5.
Why don't we do this? Go ahead and read the resolution. And
Okay,
then we
I'll just quickly summarize the one resolving clause. It authorizes Lake Fenton Community Schools to make application to the Genesee County Road Commission on behalf of the township for a permit to hold the Lake Fenton High School Homecoming Parade on Friday, October 4th, between the hours of 4 and 6 p.m. within the right-of-way of Torrey Road between North Long Lake and Laring Roads.
So
Second.
Roll call, please.
Reed.
Yes.
Gopel.
yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Krug.
Yes.
Mathis is absent. Motion carries. Resolution is
What's
adopted.
this MDOT?
It's on paper. That's something we had to add.
Okay, the next is the MDOT performance resolution for governmental agencies. Mr. Broker, please.
I apologize, this is the late addition to the agenda. We'd gotten a proposal from Michigan DPW, our lawn maintenance contractor, we've had quite a few people ask, why don't we clean up the tall grass and the junk around the freeway ramps. And in talking to Don Schweiman, our contractor, he does this already for other townships, Mundy Township being one. He gave us a proposal to clean them up on a regular basis and advised that we have to get a permit from MDOT before we can actually contract to do the work. I submitted the application, and just today they sent me an email with this resolution stating that you also need to submit this to get your application. So it's a lot of words, basically just giving us permission to apply for the permit, which would allow our contractor to mow and clean up the freeway ramps on Thompson Road once in a while.
So I need a motion to approve or request the performance resolution for governmental agencies.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mathis is absent. Kessler.
Yes.
Krug.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Moraine is absent. Reed.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution's adopted.
Good. Any board comments tonight on any subjects? Is there any public comment tonight regarding any issues? Yes, sir. Would you come up to the podium, please?
Again, I'm Dave Weber. I live off of Neal Court, off of by Loon Lake. The one question I did have, and it sounded like everyone who was here was talking about weed problems on their lakes. Is there anything that the township can do to help us prevent and stop these fertilizer companies from fertilizing all the way to the lake?
We already have an ordinance, and any company that is providing service is supposed to get a license from our township. And they're not allowed to put fertilizer within 25 feet of the water's edge. And residents, if they follow the ordinance, if they're doing it themselves, they're supposed to stay 50 feet away. Now,
Okay.
whether or not that gets followed, it's kind of hard to enforce. It is out there, and if you see any companies doing it wrong, let us know. We'll get on them.
Okay, so we can try to, I don't want to sound terrible, but it's a super huge problem. That's why most of these lakes are having so much weed issues close to the shore, and it's expedited with people just putting it right up to the lake shore.
Yeah, it's that ordinance has been in place probably close to 20 years.
Okay.
And we do require the companies to get licensed so they get a copy of the ordinance. And most of the big companies are aware of it.
Okay, so I'm just curious because I hired a new company. I'm 100 feet away from the lake where I stopped fertilizing, but other people on my street do fertilize right to the lake. So from what you're saying is every company who does fertilize in Fenton Township is supposed to have...
They're supposed to get a license, a permit through the township, and then they get a copy of the ordinance so they know they're supposed to stay 25 feet away.
Okay.
Now residents, if they're not aware of the ordinance, just tell them. But it's one of those things that's tough to...
It's hard to catch them at that exact moment because they're only there, well, you see these guys, they're in their carts and they blow through the yard fast, so it's hard to catch them. Okay. What would be the penalties the township has for companies who do that? I know there's state or state rules as well.
I think all of our ordinances are misdemeanors, so
Yeah, I
it's
think so.
$500 and 90 days in jail, potentially.
Okay. I guess you could probably videotape them.
Yeah, I wish I could. I took a night off to be here tonight, so that'd be the hard. But yeah, I don't know if education is the way to go. I don't know, I mean, because I don't want to tattletale on everybody, but it's a very important issue that I don't think enough people understand the severity of the problems they're creating by just putting down fertilizer and even wrong fertilizer. You know,
Well, what we could do, if you think it would help, if you can identify a company, let Mr. Broker know, we be the township, can then contact the company and remind them about the spraying, but also the township ordinance with its restrictions.
Okay, all right.
Goes to the education idea.
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea just to annually mail a notice to the half dozen or so that we know about that.
Right, because there's a lot of small companies. I mean, for my business, I'm a one-person business. That's what a lot of people do. They just come in and do their business. They might not always follow the rules right.
It might be too late for this year, but maybe next spring.
Right. Right.
We take the expense and mail it to everybody that lives on the lake.
Yeah.
Within the township.
Put it on your website.
Put it on the website, yep.
Okay, I'm just trying to find ways to help. I'm very selfish because our lake is so shallow. We have a horrible problem with weeds. But I know this affects every lake, and that's why a lot of people like to live in this area because of the lakes. So, especially what it sounds like with all the lakes, the ponds and everything, just be something to help everybody save money in the long run so we're not dumping hundreds of thousands of dollars into chemicals in lakes.
Tom, why don't you add it to the list of newsletter stuff if we have we periodically send out newsletters to everybody. I wouldn't really just spend the postage just for that, but if
Sure.
we're mailing to everybody, I think that's some item we can include.
Okay.
Just a reminder, because it has been 20 years and
I'm sure the Tri-County would probably be willing to do a story saying, you know, it might be late for this year, but in the spring, sort of things to think about and as we enter spring next year.
Okay, that would be great.
Reminder.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Minutes, though.
Any other comments? Yes, sir.
As stated in the minutes.
There is an ordinance then?
Yes.
in
25 feet for commercial, 50 feet for individuals.
Did I get a copy of that?
Mr. Broker,
Yeah,
can get you one
Mr.
tomorrow morning.
Brooker could get you one tomorrow, or,
Yeah, pick that up.
Okay, I'll get it for you, Les.
Okay.
thanks, Les. Any other comments or questions? If not, I'll close public comment, and I need a motion to go into closed session, please.
Second.
For the purpose of the Borkland lawsuit.
Of the Borkland versus Fenton Township lawsuit. Roll call, Tom?
Gopal?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Lorraine is absent. Mathis is absent. Krug?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Kessler?
Yes.
Motion carries. We are in closed session.